What's going on, guys? So today in this video I'm going to be talking about Drew McIntyre joining the Vision group for war games pretty much, and that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about here, and more specifically just certain narratives that I've like seen from some of the fans online that have like said certain things like about Drew McIntyre joining the Vision for war games. Some people have kind of said certain stuff that I don't agree with and that I think is wrong. And I'm gonna kind of just give my point of view and respond to some of those fans that I've seen online saying certain things about, why Drew joined the Vision for war games. And yeah, pretty much I'm just gonna give my thoughts on all of that and my responses to all of that. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I'd really appreciate it. And pretty much, yeah, Drew McIntyre, he joined the Vision group for War Games. This is a temporary alliance. And, I've seen some people, saying online that, oh, Drew McIntyre, he's gone full heel now. He's joining a heel group. Some people have said, he's joining a heel group temporarily, or others have said, oh, he's joining a heel group, in general, like permanently. But either way, I've seen people say like, oh, he's going full heel now because he's joining forces with the heel group. And or I've seen some people say that he's pretty much just, what's it called, or that he's joined the group now, and he's gonna go full on, just like kind of embrace that heel side of him. Like the fans that already see him as a heel, they see him, they see this team up with the Vision as him like embracing that he is a heel or whatever. I've seen some fans say that too, or I've seen other fans just say that he's sold out because he's teaming with the heel group, and he's supposed to be like someone who's supposed to be not in a team with heels or in a team with like people like Paul Heyman that he hates. So I've seen people throw all these narratives out there, and the thing is that Drew McIntyre, the only reason he joined this group temporarily for war games, and obviously this is not a permanent thing, this isn't like some kind of permanent alliance here, or team up, I should say. But this is literally just them temporarily teaming up, because Drew McIntyre he has a feud with Cody Rhodes. This is literally his current beef right now, and Cody Rhodes just happens to join the Vision. I mean, not the Vision, but the other team against the Vision on Monday Night Raw. And Drew McIntyre obviously saw that, so he's like, okay, what Cody Rhodes is gonna be doing that, so I want to get my revenge on him, so I'm gonna join the other group that is against Cody Rhodes. And then the added cherry on top for him is the fact that Punk is also on Cody's team, and Jay and Jimmy as well, which are also people that he hates. So it all makes sense why Drew McIntyre is on the Vision team, because he hates, he hates pretty much, what's it called, everyone that's on the other side. So it all makes sense when you really think about it. But the thing is that Drew McIntyre, he's not like teaming with the heels and like just gonna be like doing just doing bad guy stuff for no reason, or he's gonna like just chase the money and the power, just being money hungry, power hungry, just a corrupted person. Like, this is not what this is. That's not why this alliance is happening, nor is he like joining them permanently. And as far as him teaming with Paul Heyman, again, like, he hates Paul Heyman obviously, because we've seen like the promos that he's cut on him this whole year. At least some of the promos that they've done together. Drew McIntyre has pretty much made it obvious that he doesn't like Paul Heyman, and I highly doubt he will like him now all of a sudden. So, but for Drew McIntyre, this is just him like taking the opportunity to get revenge on the main person that he's beefing with right now, which is Cody Rhodes. And then you also have all the other people. You have more people that he hates on the other side, like CM Punk, Jay, and Jimmy. And then if you add Roman in there, well, there's another one. So it all makes sense why Drew McIntyre's on the Vision side. This isn't like, oh, he's friends with Paul Heyman now, or he's cool with Paul Heyman. Like, no, that's not what this is. And that wouldn't make sense anyways for that to be the case. This is literally just like he wouldn't even be in this Vision team group right now for War Games if it wasn't for Cody being on it. Like, why would he care about any of this? This is literally just him trying to get revenge on Cody. That's all this is. There's nothing else to it. And it's not like he's friends with anyone or cool with anyone on the team besides Logan Paul. That's it. Like, Drew McIntyre is not someone to like get involved in other people's business for no reason, nor is he someone to like just attack people for no reason. He always has a motive, whether if you think is a justified motive or not. He always has some kind of reasoning for why he does what he does or says what he says. So for people who keep saying like, oh, Drew McIntyre, he's joined he's teaming with heels, or he's teaming with Paul Heyman, so now he's gone full heel, or now he's abandoning his morals that he had even as a heel. Like, I see people saying these things, and it's like, again, he's the only reason he's teaming with the Vision and Paul Heyman is to get revenge on Cody Rhodes, which is his current feud. Plus, you have all the other people that he hates on the other side, like Jimmy, Jay, and CM Punk. That's all this is. And if you add Roman in there, like I said, that's just a cherry on top. So yeah, you give him even more reason to join the Vision team. So yeah, because Drew McIntyre did the same. He did the same thing on, whenever he like temporarily joined forces with the Judgment Day for War Games. Yeah, I remember that, right? Like he temporarily aligned with them in 2023 to get revenge on Jey Uso. They obviously ended up losing his team with Judgment Day, but the only reason he had joined Judgment Day is because, he was trying to get revenge on Jey Uso. And it's the same thing here with, like, him joining the Vision. This isn't, at least for War Games, like, this isn't like him trying to, all of a sudden he's like, he's embracing that he's a heel, or him going full heel, or him abandoning, the thought process of him still hating Paul Heyman. Like, this is not any of that. This is literally just him trying to get revenge on Cody Rhodes, and plus the other people that are on his team that he also hates. That's all this is. When he joined forces with Judgment Day, he was literally just trying to get revenge on Jey Uso. Not because he liked the Judgment Day. He literally said it himself, like, I don't like any of you guys, but I despise Jey Uso, something like that. And yeah, that was all it was. He knew that the Judgment Day were heels, and he didn't like them because of that, but he just wanted to get revenge on Jey Uso. So that's all this was. Drew McIntyre, the thing with Drew McIntyre, he's not like a full-on heel. So, like, I mean, I don't know, because that's the thing too, is that Triple H, I don't know what he's trying to portray Drew McIntyre as, because he could be trying to portray him as a heel, as a tweener, but the way he's written on screen, he does act like a tweener, like an anti-hero. But that's why it's either way, it's hard for people to root against Drew McIntyre, is because a lot of the stuff he does and says is justified. So even if you think he might be doing something that's like a little out of line, you understand why he's doing it. Or maybe you just think to yourself, he's actually right, and you're on his side. So Drew McIntyre is a very complex character, so it's hard for really anyone to root against him because of that. he's not like Nia Jax or like Gunther or you know who else I'm trying to think, or like Karen Cross or you know I don't like who else I'm trying to think. There's like he's not like one of those like typical generic heels that just just like do typical generic heel stuff that like they know that they're a heel but they don't care, they like being bad and they just do stuff for no reason or for no good reason and you know just do the typical heelish things. Like he's not that kind of character, so that's why it's hard for people to really root against him. um you know and so even for the people who do see him as a full-on heel, like a lot of the people, they still say he's a justified heel, rather than like some like I said, a generic heel that's just like, oh, I'm gonna cheat every match and and to try to win, and I'm gonna like attack people for no reason. I'm gonna be a money hungry, power hungry, corrupt person. He's not like that kind of generic heel. He's just someone who's like who just simply does and says things that he feels are justified, and a lot of the times they are. So that's all it is. He's pretty much a tweener, an anti-hero. Drew McIntyre's never been a full-on heel. So that's why it's hard to, like he still has like morals and he still has, principles. So he's never gonna act like a full-on heel. Like him teaming with the division isn't gonna change anything. He's still gonna be the same way. I guarantee you, on Monday Night Raw, this Monday Night Raw today, or maybe even like on Friday Night SmackDown. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna probably, go in the microphone and explain himself, and he's gonna pretty much, bring a good argument for why he's joining the Vision team. Pretty much everything I just said is he's gonna probably say the same stuff, and it'll end up being justified. Well, it already is, but he's gonna explain it, to justify it even further. To give his reasons for why he joined the Vision team for War Games, and he's probably gonna say, like, I'm not the bad guy. I'm never gonna team with Paul Heyman. I still hate him. I'm never gonna team with, the Vision, because I don't like them. Besides Logan Paul, obviously, and that's probably all the things he's gonna say, and he would be right. He would be right, and maybe he should explain himself honestly. Like this Monday Night Raw today, he probably should like explain himself, which I don't know, because I feel like CM Punk is probably gonna cut a fucking boring ass promo being like, this is War Games, and Cody's probably gonna do the same thing. Same with Jay. Oh, this is War Games. CM Punk's gonna be like, I'm the best in the world. All of you suck. I've beaten you, Drew McIntyre. I've beaten this person. I've beaten that person. Oh, I'm the best in the world. Cody's gonna be like, oh, I'm the American Nightmare. I'm the best. I've beaten you. I've beaten this. Like, they're just gonna say that stuff. Jay's gonna be like, oh, yeet. And that's it. That's probably what we're gonna get instead. And then they're gonna brawl, all of them. Then that's probably when Roman Reigns is gonna come back, and team with, with Cody Rhodes and his team, and then Brock is gonna come out and team with the Vision team. It's gonna be one, either Brock coming out or Roman coming out, but either way, like, or like one of them is gonna come out first. Pretty much is what I'm saying. But they're both gonna be on this team, on the War Games teams. And yeah, that's pretty much what's gonna happen. But again, I don't know, man. It's like I feel like this whole War Games either way is just dumb. It's pointless. No one's gonna benefit from this. It doesn't matter who wins or loses. Like literally, So at the end of the day, who literally cares? None of this means anything. And so, as far as I'm concerned, I just don't really care for this whole the men's war games or the women's war games. Um, I'm not looking forward to it. It's just gonna be a whole bunch of filler garbage. None of this matters. None of this is gonna lead to anywhere. Um, but as far as why Cody and Drew joined, now it all makes sense because Cody joined, so that way they could bring Drew in. I get it, but at the end of the day, what I have rather have seen, Cody and Drew go at it for one last time, and Drew finally wins. Yeah, of course, that's what I would have rather happened, in this situation. Um, because here's the thing, some people are saying, oh, um, what if like Jey Uso turns heel at Survivor Series, or what if Cody turns heel at Survivor Series because Jacob comes and attacks him, or what if they both turn heel or something? People have been saying these things. At the end of the day, bro, if you gave me the option for a Jey or Cody turn, heel turn versus a Drew McIntyre championship run, I would choose the Drew McIntyre championship run. I want a title reign for Drew McIntyre. Like, you can still have Jey and Cody turn heel. You don't have to, we don't have to be put in these positions where it's like, oh, you can't have one without, you can't have one and like you could only have one and you can't have the other. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. We can still get both. Like Jey could have been turned heel. The same thing with Cody. So at the end of the day, there's really no excuse here. At the end of the day, and like I've said this before, but like in my last few videos, if Jey is the only one turning heel at Survivor Series, which is the most likely option, I don't think anyone's turning heel overall. But the more likely option is Jey turning heel at this point, because I highly doubt they're going to turn their the golden boy Cody Rhodes heel. I highly doubt that they're going to, want him to be a villain anytime soon. They do these little teases. They have him act out of character, but they still present him as a full-on face. They've been doing this for like a year now, or yeah, since the whole Kevin Owens feud, pretty much. They've been having Cody act like certain ways and just like making people think, oh, this is going to be a Cody heel turn, and then nothing happens. So overall, I don't think anyone's going to turn heel between Jey and Cody, but the more likely option would be Jey to turn heel because at Survivor Series, because they've been teasing it, and like I said, Cody's their golden boy. He's literally the face of the company. I'm pretty sure they're not going to want him to be heel. And so, yeah, pretty much they're just going to milk this whole like, oh, is he a heel or is he going to turn heel? They're going to keep just going down that angle, and it's not going to lead to anything. So, either way, it's like, if I had to choose, like, I would rather Jey and Cody turn heel on the same day on Survivor Series. That's what I would choose. Because, like, if it's just going to be Jey turning heel, it's just going to be like, I don't know. It just feels like I'm more excited for Cody to turn heel because I haven't seen him be a heel. I've seen Jey be a heel before. Yeah, I've seen Jey Uso be a heel. Cody Rhodes, I've never seen him be a heel in WWE, and if he has, it's been years, obviously, because he's been back in WWE since 2022, and I started watching in December 2022. So literally he's been a face this whole time I've been watching WWE. So it's just gone stale, and repetitive, just seeing him be this generic baby face, and that's it. There's literally nothing to his character. He's just a typical baby face. He panders to the crowd. He shows love and respect to everybody. He comes out and saves the day and talks about how he wants to do the right thing, and that's it. That's all his character is. It's just very boring. It's stale, you know. He's just a generic face. There's like nothing to him, and the little parts that are different, like that little, you know, heelish teasing part that they add to him, that also means nothing because overall he's just gonna be presented as a full on baby face, you know, and he's overall just, you know, he's still gonna be, you know, like because that's the thing too. You know, he's like I said, he's gonna be presented as a full on baby face, but at the same time, the people who call him out, like the characters in WWE who call him out for being a heel or being a terrible person, they're always presented as the bad guys for doing that. You know, like Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, like that's how they were portrayed. You know, for going against Cody and seeing him as the bad guy, literally. So it's like at the end of the day, you know, that I don't know. That's just kind of annoying to me because it's like you're gonna at least try to present him as a tweener or present him as like a, you know, a full on heel. You know, I'd rather present him as a full on heel. But you get what I mean. Like if you're gonna present him as a full on face and not actually, you know, go anywhere with it, like whenever you try to do these heel teases, then what's the point of doing them? Because like anytime someone calls them out on his BS, they're just gonna be portrayed as the villains for it, because they're supposed to be the bad guys and he's the good guy. Oh my gosh, like that's just annoying to me, bro. It's just annoying. It's dumb, and it's just like, oh, he's overall still gonna be the bland baby face overall, you know. So I don't know, like. And obviously, I'm not saying that, you know, he needs to turn heel in order to be interesting. Like, obviously, they can make him an interesting babyface if they added more to his character. But that's the thing. They're not doing any of that either. You know? He's literally just a generic babyface. That's all. There's nothing else to his character other than that. That's the problem. So, obviously, they don't need to turn him heel to make him interesting all of a sudden and to fix his character. But, like... You know, this, you know, like, you know, I see people saying, like I said, that, you know, you still have him be interesting. You can still have him be entertaining as a face, you know. Yeah, but they're not doing that, though. They're not doing anything to make him entertaining as a face either. He's literally just a generic baby face. There's nothing else to him other than that. So it makes no difference here, you know. But I would personally just rather them have him fully turn heel, you know, and make him interesting in that kind of way, because I haven't seen him be a heel. Plus, you could prove Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins right about Cody Rhodes. And, you know, pretty much everyone else who's called him a fraud and all that stuff, you know, and a liar. You know, so yeah, pretty much, like, you know, Drew McIntyre joining the division it's not like, you know, Drew, oh, he's going to permanently join the division after War Games, or he's going to, like, Drew McIntyre, he's a solo guy. He likes to do things all on his own. He likes to do things by himself. And, you know, he's never going to be a full-on heel, whether if you think he already is or not. But he's never going to, like, abandon his morals and start just attacking people for no reason and, like, start becoming a money-hungry, power-hungry, corrupt piece of shit like Roman Reigns or something like that. He's never going to just, you know, be any of that, you know, and attack people for no reason, you know, and that's basically what the vision is all about. So Drew McIntyre would never, you know, he would never abandon his morals. Like I said, whether if you see him as a full-on heel or not, he's never going to abandon those morals to do stuff like that with a group that does things like that. You know, that's just not what he does. That's not what he's about. And you would kind of ruin his character because that's not what he is. You know, he's supposed to be someone that's supposed to be, like, justified with what he says and does. And maybe sometimes he takes things too far, but it's at least for understandable reason and not just for nothing, you know, or for no good reason at all, you know. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to get at here, you know. So, you know, trying to turn Drew McIntyre into like this typical heel. It's just dumb. Like, why the hell would you do that? I'm pretty sure um they're just gonna have him be this like heel who's like, or because he's like I said, he's a tweener, but they're gonna have him be like someone who acts like a heel at times because he thinks what he's doing is the right thing. They're gonna keep having him be that kind of heel, probably for a long time. They're never gonna turn him into like this, typical heel who just like attacks people for no reason and just is chasing the money and the power and corruption, and they're never gonna turn him into that typical heel. I mean, and or even just like and even just like a heel who's always cheating, because like he rarely ever cheats. Because like people like to say, oh, but he tried to cheat at Saturday Night's Main Event, like which I've said this before, but like Cody literally Cody is the one that cheated against Drew McIntyre first, because he's the one that hit Drew McIntyre with the belt a month ago and caused a disqualification. He literally hit Drew McIntyre in the face and with the championship and caused a disqualification. So Cody is the one that cheated with the belt first. Drew McIntyre tried to give Cody a taste of his own medicine at Saturday Night's Main Event by hitting him with the belt while the referee wasn't looking. And all of a sudden, now Drew McIntyre is the bad guy. And now all of a sudden, he deserved to get screwed over by Cody with the belt for the second time. Like, come on, man. That makes no sense. And that's part of the reason why Drew McIntyre wants his revenge on Cody. Because he's been cheating him in every title match with the belt. And has pretty much... And he also sees Cody as the true villain. He sees Cody as a corporate sellout, a liar, a fraud. So Drew McIntyre has every good reason to not like Cody Rhodes and, get revenge on him and to keep going after him for War Games, And plus, like I said, you have pretty much CM Punk, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso, who Drew also hates. So that's just an added bonus at that point. And if Roman joins, again, another added bonus, So, yeah, pretty much that's all I have to say about that. Like, Drew McIntyre, even the people who say he's a heel, they probably, because I see those people online, who are like, oh, he's supposed to be a heel who has morals, who has like, who does the right thing and says the right thing, and now he's like teaming with these heels, and he's going. And he's teaming with Paul Heyman, who was with the Bloodline and who he hated, So now he's going like that typical heel route, and they were just, these fans who are saying these things online were surprised by, Drew aligning with the Vision, a heel group, with Paul Heyman, who is also a heel. Like, people are just shocked by all of this and are saying all these things. But again, Drew McIntyre is just joining the group to get revenge on Cody Rhodes, and plus all the other people that he hates on that group, like CM Punk and Jay and Jimmy. So, yeah, that's all this is. Drew McIntyre is never gonna... he's a solo guy. He likes to do things on his own. Even if he was the leader of the Division, again, he doesn't like being in groups. He said that multiple times. And there's really no point in having him be a leader. Like, what the fuck's the point? What is the reasoning for that? Just like Seth Rollins, there was no reason for Seth to make a group and be the leader. There was never any point for any of this, so it's not gonna. It's pretty much just gonna be the same thing if Drew was the leader. It doesn't change anything. Like, why would he want to be in a group for? He's always wanted to do things on his own and likes to do things on his own. And definitely is not going to want to take orders from anyone if he isn't the leader. So what is the point of being in a group? What is the point? Why would he want to do that? This, like I said, this is just a temporary alliance with the Vision to get revenge on the other side of the people that he hates. And Cody Rhodes, I mean, you could argue maybe he doesn't really hate him as much as CM Punk or Jay or Jimmy, which it's technically true, because Drew has said that he doesn't necessarily hate Cody, but he dislikes him because of his actions and the way he's going about everything. He said that multiple times, but still he doesn't like him either way. It's not like he's cool with him or is friends with him. He obviously still doesn't like him either way. So it still makes sense for him to go against Cody because that's literally his most recent feud. So again, it makes sense why he's going to join the other team, the Vision team, to go against the person who he sees as a villain, who he's currently feuding with. It all makes sense. So once again, they're going down that route of making Drew McIntyre be justified in what he's doing. Maybe they're trying to present it as a heelish way because he's teaming with heels, but nonetheless, they're still trying to portray him as like a morally person by having him have a reason to join the Vision team because he's going to be going against people that he doesn't like Cody Rhodes and CM Punk and Jay and Jimmy. They've never since this so-called since he's been like since late 2023 when they started portraying him as more heelish. They've always given him a reason for why he does what he does and says what he says. So they're never gonna Triple H is never gonna be present him as a typical heel. They're never gonna abandon that kind of side of him, because then you ruin his character. You ruin his character and everything he stands for. And so, yeah, that's pretty much. They're always gonna give him some kind of reasoning for why he says what he says or does what he does. Even if Triple H is trying to portray him as a villain, he's still gonna try to portray Drew McIntyre as being justified in what he's doing, and giving him at least an understandable reason for why he's doing what he's doing or saying what he's saying. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is, And at times he also portrays Drew McIntyre as being right. So I feel like that's the whole point of Drew McIntyre's character, but I guess you could argue that it doesn't make sense to portray Drew McIntyre that way if he's supposed to be like a full-on heel, which I agree. But again, either way though, Drew McIntyre, it makes sense to portray his character that way, because why would he see himself as a villain when you really think about it? Because at the end of the day, this whole heelish side of him that was supposed to, that has been a part of him for the last 2 years, since late 2023, since Jay joined Raw 2 years ago. Literally every feud he's had, it has been with people that have either wronged him in the past, or or people that have wronged him currently, or people that he maybe feels like have wronged him. So at the end of the day, it makes sense why he wouldn't see himself as a villain, and have him act like a typical heel, because he's why would he change himself? Why would he change himself morally if he doesn't feel like he's changed himself? Why would he see himself any differently if he feels like everything he's saying and doing is justified? Because he's mostly going against people that have wronged him in some kind of way. That's all it is here. So yeah, the majority of the stuff that he says and does is justified. So it makes sense why to portray his character as not like a typical heel, and to portray his character as not seeing himself as a villain. It makes sense. But either way, that's all I have to say about all the people who have been saying Drew McIntyre has gone full heel now, or Drew McIntyre, he's supposed to be a heel, but he's abandoning his morals. He's sold out because he's teaming with heels, or he's teaming with and he's teaming with Paul Heyman, or people, or the people who are saying Drew McIntyre, has he joined the heel group now? He's gonna be acting like a typical heel. Like these are my responses. This video is pretty much my response to all of those people who were saying these things online about Drew McIntyre joining the Vision for War Games. This whole video is pretty much my response to all those people who are saying these things. And yeah, pretty much that's all I have to say. Monday Night Raw, we're gonna have to see what's gonna happen today. Later on today, they're probably gonna have, because I'm pretty sure, like, hopefully they have Drew McIntyre explain why he joined, just to give more clarity to the fans who don't understand, so that way they can understand it. And also, but that's probably not what's gonna happen, honestly. Either way, I'm sure there's gonna be a brawl, and Brock is gonna join the Vision team, and Roman's gonna join the other team, and that's what's gonna happen. So yeah, it's pretty predictable either way. None of this matters. Whoever wins, like, what is this benefit for anybody? This is all just repetitive and filler BS. None of this matters. So that's all I have to say about this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe to the channel. If you guys are new, I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.